In one of my previous Toyaholic videos about spending time in Mississippi as a kid, I talked about the Kenner TIE Fighter pilot action figure and how I bought him here in Mississippi, or my grandmother bought him for me, while I was staying a couple of weeks with them. Then my mom brought my neighbor Craig over as a surprise from Alabama, and I got in trouble for saying, what are you doing here, which I still think is a legitimate thing to say when you're shocked. But TIE Fighter pilot, I always liked this figure. I remember it having a smell. Also, the rubber hose to the tripod laser cannon had a particular smell as a kid. I can't really describe it, but I feel like it was around the time that Kenner was experimenting with scented plastics for their strawberry shortcake toys. And so it seemed like maybe something got picked up in the factory. I don't know. But there were a few Star Wars toys that had a sweet scent to them almost. Now, here is a recent custom that I've been working on. And the thing I disliked about this figure was he sort of looks bulky, like a linebacker almost. I thought his shoulders were too wide. He was a little too squat. So I had an idea a while back. What if I gave a TIE Fighter pilot torso the limbs of an ATST driver? Now, unfortunately, when I boiled the TIE Fighter torso, I boiled it too long, and it made the plastic go a bit whitish. So I wound up having to spray paint the torso as well as the limbs. Not really satisfied with this color of paint, but this is just to get him all one uniform color before I start detailing him. And then I'll eventually, hand paint in the details on the chest box, and I'm going to try to get some water slide decals of the Imperial sigils to go on the shoulders and the helmet. I'm not going to paint the gloves or the boots. I'm just going to leave them black because the actual movie costume was totally black. So this is my current custom TIE Fighter pilot in progress. Sort of, he's a little taller actually because of the longer limbs. I guess a long torso on one figure and a long legs on the other figure makes a super tall figure. But I like the skinniness of the limbs. Maybe a bit of a gap there between the bottom of the pelvis and the top of the thigh. But things like that could be corrected. But this was just sort of a down and dirty test to see how the parts would look physically together. I'd already done a digital composite, laid the two figures on the table and took their picture equidistant from the camera, cut and pasted from one to the other, and it seemed like it would have potential. So actually bought some beater figures. Don't feel bad for the ATST driver who sacrificed his limbs for this project, because I bought one off of eBay that someone had already painted and or dyed purple. So I took one previously customized figure and recycled it into my own custom. So did not diminish the number of ATST drivers out there in the world. And I even have a plan for the yield parts that were left over from this custom, specifically the TIE Fighter pilot arms. They're going to go on a different project I had planned. I always try to think these things through and well, what am I going to have left over and what custom can I use it for? All right, that's the current progress. Thank you for watching.